All right, these are the notes for 9:25:17, naming pairs of angles formed by a transversal. So the first blank here is A, transversal, is a line that intersects two or more lines in different points. Okay, so two or more lines in different points. If you want to look over here off to the right, this letter T, line T, is a transversal. And as you can see, these lines are parallel. We show that with little arrowheads. Okay, so we're talking about angle relationships today. Here is our first angle relationship. It is corresponding angles. So go ahead and fill that in. Corresponding angles are two angles that are in matching positions at the two different intersections when a transversal cuts lines. Okay, so here's an example. At this top intersection, the bottom right is right here. At the bottom intersection, the bottom right is right here. Do you agree? Both of those angles are on the bottom right of each of those intersections. So those are called corresponding. Now, if I were to highlight the angles that make those angles, so to speak, you can see they make what looks like a letter F. So we fill that in over here. And here's some other examples. This angle and this angle are corresponding. Those are making an F. It's kind of sideways. This angle and this angle are corresponding. They make a backwards F. And then this angle and this angle are corresponding. It's like an upside down F. All of those angles are in the same position, just offset down the transversal. So it's important that we know something specific about corresponding angles. In these little lines over here, we're going to write down corresponding angles. Corresponding angles. Are congruent. Okay, so it's very important that we know if they are corresponding, if they're in the same position, then we know that they are congruent. Okay? Now, beyond corresponding, we have interior and exterior angles. So, interior angles are inside the parallel lines. So here's some examples of interior angles. You got these angles and these angles in blue. And then we also have exterior angles, you can imagine, are outside the parallel lines. And if they're outside the parallel lines, I'm going to label them on this diagram in green. So we have some here, and here, here, and here. So interior is in between, and then outside, the exterior angles are out. Okay. On to the back side, we have some more angle relationships. So we are going to have, as our next one, alternate interior. Back that up. Alternate interior angles. Okay. So you can see the second word, interior, you know they have to be on the inside. Okay. Alternate means they're on alternate sides of the transversal. So again, its angles are two interior angles on opposite sides of the transversal. And so if we're going to draw ourselves a picture over here, inside these two parallel lines, on alternate sides of the transversal, gives me those two angles. And I'm going to shade along the edge of each angle. There's one angle, and there's my second angle. And if you look at that, it kind of looks like the letter Z. So let's get some more examples of alternate interior. So this angle and this angle are between the parallels on alternate sides of the transversal. If I outline the angles, I end up getting this backwards looking Z shape. We also have, for example, this and this. And then we can also get this and this. Alright, all those are alternate interior angles. And what do we know about alternate interior angles? Alternate interior angles are congruent. So again, anytime you see anything that is between the parallels on different sides of the transversal, we know that they are congruent. Same measurements. Okay, now we move on to the next one. Instead of being alternate, now we're going to talk about same side interior angles. It goes on to say here, they are two angles in the interior and on the same side of the transversal. So check it out. In this diagram on the left, this angle and this angle, they are both on the same side of the transversal, but they are between the parallel lines. So that's why we would call them same side interior angles. Now if I outline the angles again, I get this angle and this angle, which kind of looks like, from our vantage point, kind of looks like a U, but we're going to call it a sideways looking C. Okay? So here's some more examples. Here and here. Those angles make a C. Here and here. Those angles make a C. Here and here. Those angles make a C. Now, whenever we have same side interior, you might be thinking, yeah, it's going to have to be congruent because that's everything we've done so far, but this is where it changes. If you didn't notice, the same side interiors aren't matching. One's acute, one's obtuse. Okay? If one's acute and one's obtuse, they can't be congruent, and in fact, they add up to a straight line, 180 degrees. We call that supplementary. Okay? So if they're same side interior, they're supplementary, 180 degrees. So I want you to catch the alliteration. Same side, supplementary, S, 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 right? Same side, supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. All right, so we have two more over here. We have alternate exterior. So on the outside, they can be alternate exterior. And we don't have a fancy letter for that. Outside angle would be here, and the alternate outside angle on the other side, way far away, would be right there. If I shade those angles, they don't make a letter. They're just two angles, and they're very far away from each other. But what do we know about them? Well, alternate exterior angles are congruent. So just like alternate interior, alternate exterior are congruent. And then our very last angle relationship that we need to know for this next unit 2 is same side exterior. So once again, they're on the outside. So here's an angle on the outside. Another angle on the outside that is on the same side of the transversal would be this one. If I shade the edges of the angles, again, I don't get a special letter out of this one, so we don't have that on our notes, but we will write that same side exterior angles are supplementary. So again, notice, same side exterior are supplementary. So, at the bottom of this sheet, we're going to make a little note to ourselves here, that anytime we see the words alternate, whether it's alternate interior or exterior, those are going to be congruent. We know they're going to be equal in their measurement. Okay? But anytime we see the phrase same side, whether it's interior or exterior, either of those is going to be supplementary. You have to squeeze that in there. You can't really read that, but it's supplementary. Okay? Now those are all of our different angle relationships to kick off Unit 2, so that way we can use that information to find out missing angles. And so you're going to use these notes as you do the assignment to name angles and their pair relationships, and also so you can find missing angle degrees on the worksheet. You may go ahead and start doing that.